All right, so we just talked about how the psoas and helping to stabilize through the psoas can really be helpful for the low back. So let's play with that a little bit. Now, first what we want to do is we want the psoas to come into a more relaxed state. So that means allowing for it to lengthen out to its anatomical length, okay? Instead of being in this engaged position. One of my favorite ways to do this is to take a little bit of height. I'm using a yoga block, but you can do this on the bottom steps at home if you've got that, okay? So just make sure that you're at the bottom of your set of stairs, not the top of your set of stairs. And you're going to place one foot up onto the height, okay? Support yourself here so that we're not focused on balancing. And we're just going to push into that block so that the opposite foot is going to hover, okay? So I'm lifting my foot away from the earth here. And then take a moment, check in with your pelvis, see if you can notice if there's any hitch on one side or the other, and see if you can just allow for a little bit of balance there between the two sides. So we don't want one side hitching up higher than the other. And then all that we're going to do is we're just going to allow this leg to kind of hang in mid-air here, okay? So allow for the weight of gravity to pull on that leg down through the bottom of the foot. Let the toes dangle down towards the earth. If they touch, that's okay. But we're just allowing a little bit of weight to increase into this area of the body. As you do this, notice, is your pelvis kind of dumping forward? Is it dumping backward? See if you can kind of find that neutral pelvis, that sweet spot in between an anterior and a posterior tilt. And we're just going to allow this psoas muscle, which is really, really deep in through the pelvis and the belly, to lengthen here. Once we've done that, it feels nice as well to create a little bit of movement. So I like doing circles. Sometimes it's nice to do pendulum, front to back. And again, just making sure that this leg is nice and heavy, not forcing anything. And you can do this for a couple of minutes. You can take your time kind of coming off and onto the block on one side, exploring that. But just for simplicity and time's sake, we're going to pause, come off of that block. And even just in that, minute and a half of me allowing that leg to dangle, I can feel a difference through this side of my body, okay? So you can do that on the other side. Again, just for time's sake, I'm only going to do the one side. But then, once you've done that, you can come onto a yoga mat or just near some furniture so that you can use it for some balance, whatever it is that works best for you. And that same leg, we're going to step it back so that we come into a lunge position, okay? High lunge, we're gonna stay high. Keep that heel lifted off of the floor. And then I want you to bring your hands onto the front of your pelvis here, and we're going to square that pelvis forward, okay? So I want you to feel yourself turning your pelvis forward. That's why these back toes are going to be pointed forward so that we're not kinking through that pelvis, all right? So it doesn't have to be a big stance here either, all right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to tuck that tailbone under. As you tuck that tailbone under, remember that we've got this psoas muscle attached to the spine, stands a little bit too far away, attached to that lumbar spine, and then coming here. So as I bring myself into a lunge like this, I'm doing the same thing with stand, and then I tuck that tailbone under, what's happening is that psoas muscle is being lengthened ever so slightly while it's in an engaged position, all right? So we're stabilizing through the pelvis here and then tucking that tailbone forward. It's a small movement, all right? Focus on pushing the back of this thigh behind you while you tuck that tailbone under, all right? Sometimes when we tuck the tailbone, the entire leg comes with us, all right? So see if you can just tuck that tailbone and push the thigh back at the same time. And then you're going to stand up. Notice how that feels. Can you connect into the sensations of that psoas muscle? I know I certainly can. So play with that. Try it on both sides and notice how it feels.